Ask a large language model a question, and it writes its answer one token at a time. Here's a hidden problem. To produce each new word, a naive model reruns attention over the entire text so far, recomputing the very same vectors for every earlier token again and again every single step. For a long response that is staggeringly wasteful, and it gets quadratically slower as the text grows. Yet almost all of that work is identical to the step before. The KV cache is the beautifully simple fix that makes modern LLM inference actually affordable. So what does it store, and why does it change everything? Let's break it down. At its heart, the KV cache is a four-step loop that repeats for every token. Watch one round of generation. Process the current token through the layer and compute its key and value vectors, exactly as attention normally would. These two vectors summarize what this token has to offer every token that comes after it. Instead of throwing those vectors away, append them to a growing cache, one slot per token, kept separately for every layer and every attention head. The cache is simply the memory of all the keys and values seen so far. Crucially, that stored key and value will never need to be touched again. Now for the next token, compute only its query vector. This is the key saving. You no longer recompute keys and values for any earlier token, because they're already sitting in the cache, unchanged since the moment they were first made. Finally, take that single new query and attend it against every cached key and value at once. The token sees the entire past for the cost of one step, and its own fresh key and value are appended, ready for the token after it. And so the loop turns one token at a time, the cache always one step ahead. So what does this actually save us? Here's the before and after. Without a cache, every single generation step reruns attention across the whole sequence from scratch, recomputing the keys and values for every token that came before. That work piles up quadratically with length, so a long answer becomes painfully and needlessly slow to produce. Every earlier token is rebuilt from nothing, even though its result is identical to the step before. With a cache, those past keys and values are computed once and stored. Each new step only computes a query for the newest token and reuses everything else, so the cost per token stays roughly constant and decoding becomes linear instead of quadratic. Strip it down and three ideas capture the KV cache. It stores past keys and values so they're never recomputed. Because causal attention means earlier tokens don't depend on later ones, their vectors are fixed the moment they're made, and can simply be remembered instead of rebuilt. It makes decoding linear instead of quadratic. Each new token computes a single query and reuses the cache, so generating a long response costs roughly constant work per step rather than ballooning with the length of the text. That steady cost per token is what keeps long generations practical. It grows with length and dominates memory. The cache expands with every token, every layer, and every head, so for long contexts and large batches it can devour enormous amounts of GPU memory, which is exactly why tricks like grouped query attention and sliding window attention exist to shrink it. Alright, let's lock in what matters. A KV cache stores the keys and values already computed for previous tokens, so a model never recomputes them while it generates. It works because causal attention keeps those past keys and values fixed, so each new step only needs a query for the newest token. That turns autoregressive decoding from quadratic into linear, which is the single reason long LLM responses are affordable to generate. Its cost is memory because the cache balloons with length, layers, and heads, which is why grouped query and sliding window attention exist to shrink it. Want the rest of the transformer demystified the same way? It's all waiting for you at standarity.com. Catch you inside.